Caitlin Clark talks to the media, giving them an update on her injury status, and she might be back a little sooner than we expected. She also talks about Aari McDonald and the impact that she made on the team. And with Damiras Dantas being out from June until July, will the Indiana Fever start playing Michaela Timpson? And would they dare cut another big on the roster to keep Aari McDonald? Okay, first things first. Everyone wants to know when Caitlin Clark will be back. It's been about a week and a half since they announced her injury, that she will be sidelined, and that was apparently for a minimum of 2 weeks, which pretty much everyone thought she would be out up until the possibility of playing the New York Liberty on June 14th. So she did speak to the media. She did mention that there was a possibility that she would come back for the Atlanta game. She's definitely going to be out for the Chicago Sky game, which is so crazy because that is the game that they moved to the United Center, which would have been the most attended game in WNBA history. It did sell out, but I don't know if everybody will actually show up to the game now. I'm sure that a lot of people that bought the tickets are the secondhand vendors, and I think that I have been seeing that some of those ticket prices are going for pretty cheap right now. But let's take a listen to what Caitlin Clark said herself about returning, about her injury, etc.
Yeah, I'll be reevaluated this weekend, so I'll miss this weekend's game, but after that, it's, day by day and see how I feel and just kind of turn to the medical staff and what they think. But I feel like I've made a lot of progress and I feel good, and I'm not going to rush coming back. It's just not worth it. But after this weekend, I'll be reevaluated and we'll have a better idea of when I'll return.
Would Tuesday be a possibility, or?
We'll see. I think, we're trying not to put an exact date out there because it is kind of a day by day thing, and see how I feel. And, this type of injury, you don't know when I wake up, I'll feel, different than the day before, and we'll see. It could be a possibility, but I could also not be available for that game too.
Okay, so the fact that there is the possibility is slightly more hopeful than ruling it out entirely. I think by the way that they've been going with injuries that she is going to remain out for the Atlanta Dream game, but the possibility wasn't exactly there before. Everybody was pretty much just assuming that, her return would be for the New York Liberty game. But what I really liked about this is that she is prioritizing her health. Everyone is prioritizing her health because honestly, in the long run, that is what is needed, because in the earlier part of the season, like what's going on right now, all of the teams are kind of adjusting to each other. There's so many rosters with so many new faces. So there's chemistry developing. The Indiana Fever are developing chemistry. And in the last game against the Washington Mystics, it finally seemed like they started to kind of gel a little bit. And a lot of that had to do with Aari McDonald. You can't not see what you're seeing. And I think a lot of it was just going out there, running and gunning and read and react. And, which makes me kind of think that Steph White might be a little overthinking the schematics of the play she's running, and all this defense and that, and just letting people go with an idea of what to do, because that's exactly how Caitlin Clark played before. And granted, they definitely needed to up their defense just a little bit, but I think that there's a lot of overthinking going on. And I do see adjustments that Steph White does, and I'm hoping that she saw the same thing that I'm thinking. But back to Caitlin's injury, I think that it is so much better that she go out now and take even an extra week if she needs, however long she needs, to recover, because it's a lot more crucial to be healthy later in the season, because later in the season are going to be the more challenging games. Later in the season is going to be when everyone is has developed and honed all the chemistry that they need to develop, all the gelling that they need to do, and everyone is going to be gunning for those playoff spots. And we all know that Caitlin Clark is the most watched player in the WNBA. She brings in a lot of viewership. She is what people want to see the most right now. There is a lot of good talent out there, but when you look at the bottom line, that's what the bottom line says. Now, she is the key offensive playmaker. She is the backbone to the Indiana Fever, and everybody wants her back. Fans want her back. I'm sure team wants her back. Coach White wants her back. The WNBA wants her back. And, the Indiana Fever, they were definitely struggling in the first few games without her. They found some rhythm in the last game, thank God, but there is no denying that her absence, I mean, it made a mark and she is just missed. But prioritizing her long-term health over like a rushed comeback, it would just be better for her, it would be better for the team, and it would be better for the WNBA. Because coming back too soon could re-aggravate her injury, and that setback could have just way bigger consequences later in the season when the Indiana Fever would need Caitlin Clark at the top of her game. But there was something else very interesting that Caitlin Clark said, and she had mentioned when she got the quad strain, because a lot of people were thinking, you know, it had, I mean, myself included, that the quad strain was correlated to her previous injury, which was also in her quad, but has been talked about as not being related, even though the causation correlation thing, I'm sure there is some sort of connection, but it might not be on the same muscle. So technically it's not the same injury, but she had mentioned that she got the actual injury in the New York Liberty game. And a lot of people were thinking that she was playing through that game on her injury. And I'm sure she was playing through some of it on her injury. But according to what Clark is saying, she did attain the injury during the game.
It happened in the Liberty game, yeah. Definitely early in the game, but I couldn't tell you the exact play something occurred on, and could have occurred over the course of the game too. And then obviously adrenaline like covers up a lot of stuff when you're in the heat of battle. And after the game, I had some pain, and then got an MRI, and that kind of gave me the result that I didn't want to see. But those type of things don't lie. So yeah.
She was also asked about how she felt about the team in her absence. She says they've been resilient. She knows how hard it's been for them. And she also goes into how she feels about Aari McDonald.
The Mystics, I thought we were really good. I thought we started to flow a little bit better on offense. We played with a little more pace. Well, I could tell before her first practice, she definitely watched some film. She knew exactly what we were doing on offense. She knew defense, but also that just speaks to like her time in the league and understanding, how you play in this league. She's competitive. Hey, Aaliyah. She's competitive, she's aggressive, she's physical. Obviously, she's guarded me when she was on the Sparks last year. She just brings a different energy and tenacity, and that's something I think we really needed. She got us into our offense well. So just really impressed with her. I thought she did a tremendous job, honestly.
See, it's the pace. I'm telling you, they played better with pace. Caitlin Clark was really impressed with her. I don't think she was just saying like what she was supposed to be saying. And I really think that there are going to be moves that need to be made. But it's very interesting because I'm not sure if you guys know, but Damiras Dantas is now going to be out. She's going to be playing in the Americup competition from late June to early July. And she's a big. She has been very valuable. She has been setting amazing screens, especially in the last game. And, the idea was to cut Turner and bring in Aari. But if the Fever do cut Turner, that would mean that they have Natasha Howard, DeWanna Bonner, and Michaela Timpson being able to play that role. And DeWanna Bonner, Natasha Howard, or Michaela Timpson will also have to be playing the 3-4 role. So that doesn't leave a lot of big options. And it kind of presents the Indiana Fever with a bit of a conundrum because they didn't plan for safety in the roster construction. At least, I don't know if they thought Sid Colson was a safety. I don't think that they did. I think that Sid Colson was somebody they looked at to come in for a few minutes a game, possibly not even every game. And then they realized, oh my gosh, Caitlin Clark went down early in the season and we actually don't have a backup playmaker. So do the Indiana Fever want to be in that predicament with a potential center backup? Because who will back up Aaliyah Boston? I assume that DeWanna Bonner can come in and back up Aaliyah Boston. She's been great at the rebounds. But can DeWanna Bonner bully through the paint? Can DeWanna Bonner play off pick and rolls? Can Bree Turner play off pick and rolls? I think that there's a lot that needs to be worked out in the front court because they are working out the backcourt. They're working out the backcourt. That last game shows significant improvements in the backcourt, and all of a sudden now they need to think about the front court. I think that this is a time where Stephanie White especially needs to be thinking, let's play Michaela Timpson. Let's see what she can do because we are losing a valuable asset, a valuable big that spreads the floor, a valuable big that can set good screens. So the time to see what Michaela Timpson can do, I think, is now, actually. There is still one option left, and that is adding the 12th player. A lot of this depends. There's a lot of like puzzle pieces that kind of need to fit and match. There's a lot of questioning if the CBA will actually let the Indiana Fever, and this is potentially waive one of their current players that are not on a protected contract, and that would be Bree Turner, not on a protected contract, Sid Colson, not on a protected contract. I mean, there are other players who are not on protected contracts, but those are the two that are probably, in my opinion, the least safe. But if they waive one of those two players, they can bring Aari in, but there is a lot of questioning as to whether or not they have to wait 10 days from the time they waive her until they bring her back. I don't think that that's the case, but if they did do that, then they would have cap space to bring in someone else for the rest of the season. Anyway, what do you guys think? If you have any thoughts about the roster construction, if you have any thoughts about Damiras Dantas going out, if you have any thoughts about Caitlin Clark's injury, any thoughts whatsoever, get down in the comments, and I will see you next time.